you don't need to continue fighting and fighting and fighting to live. You can live without fighting, without killing others, without destroying homes in Lebanon, in Gaza, in West Bank. You can live in safety in one democratic state without Zionism, without any other racist ideology. This is my message.
Welcome to the Yalla podcast. My name is Alon.
I'm Elik.
And today we have with us Mohammad again. Mohammad, do you want to say a few words about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm so happy to see you again. I'm Mohammad. I'm Mohammad Zraiy, Palestinian from Gaza Strip, from Deir al-Balah refugee camp, middle of Gaza Strip. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So, Elik, you want to explain to the audience what is going on in this episode?
Yeah, so we're really happy to see you again, Mohammed. It's it's amazing opportunity for us. And we did, for our viewers, I would say this is the second part of an conversation interview. I think this time it's going to be more like conversation, and maybe we're going to have a third part as well, because we're really enjoying this and we think it's important. And first part of the interview, we talked more about what happened in like the situation in Gaza before October 7th, the history. We talked about like what does it mean about you, Mohammed? What does it mean to be like a Palestinian refugee, right? We talked about that extensively, and we will continue to discuss it. And we want this interview to start. We're in the second part of the last interview. We talked about the situation now in Gaza. And we want to start with this, and then later we will more talk about the ODSI, the organization that we're both part of, that talks about our vision of one democratic state. But for now, I wanted to ask you, I saw you shared a post with me about that you wrote about the starvation in Gaza, about what's going on, and we want people to know, because I think the world needs to hear this, especially Israelis. So I wanted to ask you if you can tell us a bit what's going on now due to the starvation, and what is your situation and your family and people in general. You can describe for us a bit.
Yeah, good. I wrote a post on in my Instagram account. I explained, or I said, there is a hunger revolution coming in Gaza. I feel this will be soon if this situation go on, okay? Because we face a human-made famine, because Israel prevent the international aids, or allowed a few amount of international aids. And also there are many criminal gangs supported works in the areas or in the cities like Rafah city, which under Israeli army control. They steal the international aids and sell it in the markets in huge and expensive prices. For example, a bag of flour, 25 kilo, right now today its price 800 shekels.
Wow.
And this is an essential thing. People can't buy flour in this price. So they use other things like rice, like pasta, and they also so expensive, but not in that level. Okay, so.
But Mohammad, I need to ask you, Mohammad,
yeah.
please. I need to ask you. Israelis keep saying, Zionists keep saying, the government of Israel keep saying that the humanitarian aid being let into Gaza is stolen by Hamas. They say Hamas steals the food, and that is why this is the excuse of many Israelis and Zionists to prevent the entering of aid into Gaza. And what you're telling us now is that the food and other humanitarian aid is not stolen by Hamas, but mainly by gangs controlled by Israel. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. There is criminal gangs works in areas no one can enter it, like Rafah city. Israeli army controls that area. Even its people can't go to their homes, but gangs can work. They armed and can work in that areas anytime they want. Also, when Palestinian police, Israel targeting Palestinian police, they try to protect the international aids. Several times in our neighborhood, they targeted police officers and police members in their homes with their families, and they target them in the streets. Not all police men in Gaza support Hamas or they are Hamas. No, it's a civil how can I say it? A civil organization. Okay.
Yes.
Works for people. Works to help people. Okay. Not all people in police in Gaza, they Hamas. like Israeli police. Not all police in Israel support Ben Gvir. Okay.
Yes.
This is the same here in Gaza, but Israel targeted everyone, every member, every officer in Palestinian police, killed them with their families in their homes. Yeah, this is make gangs more confident and more serious to kill, to steal, to. This is what the next day Israel wants. This is the situation. Also, I said before that genocide is not just about killing people or destroying cities. It's also making places unlivable, to force people to leave, to force people to make life difficult. Okay, this is a way Israel uses to make people leave, to make life so difficult, to make the situation tough up. So people, I don't want to say, I don't speak in behalf of people, but I feel if the crossings right now open, all people in Gaza, they will leave, because there is no life in Gaza. There is no food. There is no water. There is no. Israel targeted everything, prevents everything. The amount of international aids so few, not that amount that achieve the food security. I don't say it. I don't know
food
how
security.
to say it in English. Yeah,
food security.
Yes. Yeah, you must spend hours and hours in your day to find vegetables, to find fruits, to find flour, to find rice, and in so expensive prices. Yes. I told you before the war, a bag of flour, 25 kilos, was just 15 shekels.
Yes.
But now it 800 shekels. The situation yeah, there is Israel use starvation as a weapon, as a way to make our life so difficult. This is a genocide. Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Finished.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing, that I'm just have to repeat it, so people to understand. They target the policemen who could
Yeah,
help to deliver the aid for the people and make it. They shoot them, but the criminal gang, they let them operate freely and
Yes, and even support them.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want people to understand.
And they are the ones that are
And also
stealing
they
the
are
food and creating
communicate.
the problems.
They communicate with Israeli army directly. Gangs
Wow.
communicate with Israeli army directly. Many of Israeli officers speak Arabic as the mother tongue. There's Druze and Arab work in Israeli army. So gangs communicate directly with Israeli army to tell them the way that the international aid will walk in. Yeah.
Wow. And their goal is to create chaos, right? To create that's what they want, right? They want to make it as more chaotic as possible.
Yes, more dangerous.
More dangerous.
Yes.
Wow.
So, Mohammed, I must say that it's very difficult to hear all these things because we know that the situation in Gaza is horrible, but hearing you describe it in like detail is again, I have no words to say. This is what we are trying to do now to first of all make this horrific situation stop. And Mohammed, I want to ask you if you feel comfortable to share your experience in this situation. How are you getting food? Where? How is your family doing?
Yeah. Not just about us, it's also about all people in Gaza. We rely on international aids as the main source of food from the United Nations and UNRWA. UNRWA is essential part to provide us of food, but now there is nothing coming in Gaza from Israeli crossings, so it's difficult to now. UNRWA doesn't work, and it's because there is no food entering, no international aids entering. What we do in this case? We force to buy food in expensive prices because there is no other option. I'm working on online as a teacher online. My mother also is a teacher. We help other people we know from our relatives, our neighbors, and our neighbors can if they have the food or vegetables, they also share them with us. There is a kind of community cooperation, you can say, that make the situation easier. Sorry, that make the situation easier. I don't remember exactly a specific situation about this, but I have many canned food. I sent you a photo, Elik. And this is help right now, but I don't know what will happen if they finish.
Yes. Yes. The longer that this goes on, the more difficult it becomes. because it's like you're stretching yourself thinner and thinner.
Yeah. We need every person who watched this, everyone, we need to think, what we can do and not to stop speaking about it. And but it's hard, because people in the world, they see what's going on, and the world continue to support it, like the powerful people continue to
I think the people of the world are against what is going on in Gaza right now, what Israel is doing in Gaza right now. But I think the people in power, they support it very much because this is something that is connected to their power. This is an action.
I feel it's important to be against what's happening in Gaza, but that not enough. You must be against the ideology that justifies all of what happening in Gaza. If you want to support people in Palestine or people in Gaza, you must stand against Zionism, because Zionism, this ideology, justifies all what Israel doing in Gaza and in West Bank, and justify all what happened in the history, through the history, in 1948, in 1967. You must stand not just I am with Palestine, or I am against a racist government, a racist Israeli government. This government in Israel right now, it's not an isolated case. What justify all of this is Zionism. So if you want to support Palestine, to support justice for everybody in Palestine, Jews and Arabs, you must stand against Zionism as a racist ideology.
Yes, and everyone around the world as well. I think this is a very important point that bears repeating. If you are only against the war, you are not really against the war. You must be against the cause of the war. You must be against the system that is creating, justifying, and carrying out this so-called war, this actual genocide. You must be against the entire system. And this system starts with Zionism. The part of the system, of the worldwide system creating this genocide, is Zionism. And of course, the USA supporting it, and the rest of the world, Western countries supporting it. You have to be against what allows this to happen, not just against this. Because if you are against this, it will not stop. Justice. If you are against justice, it will not stop.
When we talk about the genocide, it's not just what happens now in Gaza. It's about the genocide, I think, now is part of Zionism. Like the erasure of Palestine is part of Zionism. And that's why, and I also wanted to ask you after about what happens in northern Gaza in general, that they want to move out the people in order to bring settlements, right? Like this is what I understand.
This is the continuation of the process.
It's continuation of what happened in 48 and what happens in 67, and I wonder what it's part of this process, right? That's how I understand it. But maybe you say what you wanted to say.
I agree with you. I don't prefer to say Nakba happened in 1948. I always say Nakba started in 1948 because it's ongoing situation, ongoing action. It's still continue today and also in the future. The situation that Zionism created in Palestine, created with the Palestinians, this is the Nakba, not an action happened in 1948 in the past. It's ongoing action. I want to say about Zionism. It's also strong. It's still strong. This ideology it's still strong between Israelis themselves. I'm working with my friend. He's from Gaza. We working together to understand what makes Zionism strong between Israelis and between Jews in general. Now we are studying the Jewish state book by Herzl. I want to ask you, as Israelis, you lived in Israel, you were born in Israel. What makes Zionism a strong ideology between Israels and between Jews in general? What do you think?
It's a good question. Do you wanna?
I will start by saying it's a good question and it's a difficult question. It's not easy to answer this question, and I think it has many different answers. All of them are true in their own way, and the real answer is the combination of all these different answers. So I think that first of all, on a very practical level, there is a system of indoctrination and propaganda that is working inside Israel, that is working on all Israelis, that is working on all Jews around the world. There is a system that is an aspect of the system of Zionism, of the wider system of Zionism, also an aspect of the wider system of West supremacy. And this system of propaganda and indoctrination is a very effective one, very well designed by very smart and competent people. Unfortunately, they are smart, they are competent, they know how to brainwash. This reminds me of Leni Riefenstahl, the famous German Nazi director who did the propaganda for Hitler and the Nazi regime. She was very good at her craft, and the films that she made are still studied in film studies because they are well made. This is also true about Israeli propaganda, about Zionist propaganda. People make fun of Hasbara, okay? They make fun of it because it's ridiculous. It looks ridiculous from the outside. But this system is so well constructed that the vast majority of Israelis and Zionists, when they see this supposedly ridiculous propaganda, they think that it is true. They are sure that everything is true. They have no doubt that what is being said to them is true, because this is years and years and years of constructing a narrative, constructing a system of alternative facts, constructing a system of excuses for everything that is hermetically closed. You cannot talk to Zionists and present the narrative of the Palestinians without them having defense systems for everything that you say to them. It is an airtight thing, and it is very difficult to know how to penetrate this. Okay? And this is deliberate by the Israeli government and by the Zionist project.
So just like I want to give you an example, okay? Because I live in a neighborhood. It's a very, it's kind of more poor people, I think. Very right wing, very very Zionist. Everyone here you see is I always tell Alon, if people know what we're doing when I go to the street, they're gonna shoot me or lynch me, you know. And I go and I see there's television people there, and there's in the news tell people Israelis being told not to go to Berlin and not to wear a kippah, yarmulke.
Yarmulke, yes.
Because they sell you, brainwash you, anti-Semitism all the time. And it's like since the moment we're born, we learn that anti-Semitism is not something that can be changed. It's like in history, it's a fact, you know, that Jews are being hated everywhere. And Palestinians they don't hate Jews because, you know, 7th of October, what did they say? It's not something that happened because of the historical context of what happens with, you know, the occupation and Zionism.
The moment you say that October 7th has context, you are considered a traitor.
You're a traitor.
You are a terror supporter if you say that, that October 7th has context.
Yeah, and their only thing that can save Jews, whoever they are, is the Jewish state. and nothing, there's no other solution for that. Like you cannot, and if you say something against this, you're an anti-Semite yourself. Like if you say, hey, look, we can, you know, for example, I know that there is real anti-Semitism, you know, it exists in the world, you know, like, but I don't think Zionism is a good answer for that, you know. I think it's a bad answer. It's create more of it. It's create people.
Mm-hmm.
Think just you told us that for the Palestinians in Gaza, and they say the Yahud, right? They're doing it. But
Yeah.
who created this? It's the Israel created this. Before that, Palestinians
Exactly, yes.
didn't hate Jews. So it's a system that tells you that Jews are being hated all the time, and the only thing you can do is to trust the Jewish state that will protect you. Any other solution is like, and this is what we're facing, you know, and I don't know what we can do about it, honestly, because when we try to present the Israelis the idea of ODSI, one democratic state, for them, it's like what they hear, you're presenting us something that will make us minority, and then we're going to die. And that's it, you know? So I don't know.
Yes, the slogan is they want to throw us into the sea.
Yeah.
This is what the vast majority of Israelis think about Palestinians, and you might think that this is only unsophisticated Israelis, but I think that even the most sophisticated Israelis, as long as they are Zionists, they still think it, but in a more sophisticated way. Still, when sophisticated people see me wearing a watermelon shirt, for example, they are sure that I think that they should, all of them, be kicked out. Okay, this is what they are sure that I think by wearing a watermelon T-shirt, if they understand the context.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But even sophisticated
I understand
people.
Yeah, you have two different answers, but what makes sense to me, what Elik said about how or what the emotions that Zionism make Israelis feel.
Yes.
Okay, I look to this point in sympathy. I feel the conditions, the historical conditions that Jews go through in Europe, something make any human being to feel sympathy. Okay, this leads me to another question about there are many Israeli historians, Israeli academics, etc. They have deep influence on Palestinians, like Elik Pape has he influences many people in Palestine, in Gaza and in West Bank, but no one listened to Elik Pape Elik Pape, and
yes.
we have in Arabic Elik. We have a name in Arabic Elik. Okay,
it's a different
Pape,
version.
Elik Pape in Israel. Yani, he has many people listen to Elik Pape when an Arabic channel make an interview or a podcast with Elik Pape, hundreds thousands in Television Al Arabi. He has a podcast with Elik Pape, and the view reached to 600,000.
Wow!
In just 2 months.
Wow!
Yeah, many people listen to Elik Pape in Palestine, in other Arab countries, but this not the same between Israelis.
No,
even he is an Israeli. Yeah.
I want to remind our audience that in the end of the first part of this interview, we asked you what changed your mind about Israelis. What made you support the idea of shared living?
Elan Pape.
Yes. And you said that Ilan Pape changed your mind.
And I said that for me, Ilan Pape also changed my mind. So it like we were both changed by. So it's kind of it's nice to.
Yeah. And I think that this is part of the problem. You say Palestinians listen to Ilan Pape, and Israelis do not. And I think that once Israelis can listen to people like Ilan Pape, then it is the start of a process of them changing their ways and freeing themselves from the indoctrination of this cult. We call it a cult. Mm-hmm. And then they can actually start working towards something better, like we are trying to do, to work with you and with other Palestinians on the idea of an equal state and just state for all its inhabitants. And I think that this is the positive route to go, and this is why people like Ilan Pape are important.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you want to tell about the other one, right?
Yeah, the other one. This is I remember that this is the first one I read. His book was Mikopeled.
Mikopeled, yes.
Mikopeled. Okay. I pronunciate it in Arabic because I read their books in Arabic. Not in
interesting.
English. Yeah, I find his book in a library in Gaza. The son of General.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly the name.
Yes, this is the name. This is the name.
Yeah. The son of General. What make me choose this book? Not the title of the book or the author, the translator. The translator, someone I know. He study. He teach me in the university. That make me okay. I will buy this book to read it, to say how this guy, this man, translate books, his level in translation.
Oh, interesting.
That leads me. That leads me. He mentioned in his book that his nephew or his niece, I don't remember exactly, killed in Palestinian attack in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
But when I read this his book, I feel that surprised me because he's an Israeli. He lost his nephew, but despite of this, he still recognized Palestinian rights, support Palestinian struggle. That this is the first idea that led me to Elan Pape. So Mikopeled before Elan Pape. That this is. I remember that when I was preparing answer questions in that you send it for part 2. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, for me it was also Mikopeled also, but like I did it first. I read Ilan Pape and then I got introduced to Miko.
So I think I want to say something to our audience as well. I think I would be really, really happy if the kind of things that Elik and I are doing will have the same kind of effect that the kind of things that Mikopeled and Ilan Pape are doing. So I wanted to ask our audience if anyone in our audience speaks Arabic and wants to help us. We don't have any money, okay? We don't have any money, just so you know. But if you want to help us add Arabic subtitles to any one of our videos, we would be glad to put them in the video. We need to talk about how to do it technically. I would really appreciate it if anyone wants to help us with that. And hopefully, the kind of things we are doing will reach Arabic speakers as well, and anyone who wants to contact us and to connect with us who is Arabic or from the Arabic world and wants to cooperate, we are willing to do it. I just want to say it very, very clearly. We want to do it. Okay?
Yeah, that's
I can help, and I can help in this. Just a minute, please. I can help in this, but I have some technical problem. I can't put the subtitle on YouTube. I can translate. I can translate from English into Arabic. Yeah.
Mohammad, I would really appreciate it. Okay, already someone helping us, but I think if more people help us, it will be easier. So I'm asking everyone. So thank you so much, Mohammad. Yes, wonderful.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good.
I just want to say to the audience that Elik did a video where he said some very clear and direct things against Zionism and what needs to be done here, and it already went a little bit viral, but I think it needs to become more viral. And if it has Arabic subtitles, maybe more people will hear it. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? The last one I did. So I feel that Zionism has so much force. It's like a huge monster, and I wonder what can we do to defeat it? Like, I don't know, sometimes I feel it's like we're powerless. Like, I think that's what's
I think that Zionism is strong because it's strong between Israelis. I feel that the Jewish element is important in our work because we can dismantle the Zionist regime inside, let's say, inside its people. Okay, between its people. When we give Jews or give Israelis an option to live together, that will make because Zionism gives also an option, but what its option? Stop fighting other people, stop killing other people to live. No, you must fight other people. You must kill anybody. Let's share this land together. Yeah. So I give you an option because I feel you are important in my struggle, in my case.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to get to discuss a bit the ODSI, One Democratic State Initiative, and I wanted to ask you a bit, first of all, what is it and how you come to hear about it and to believe in it, that it's the correct way forward.
Yeah. Okay. The One Democratic State Initiative, it's a Palestinian political group that includes Palestinians and Palestinian and Lebanese members, with its activities primarily based in Lebanon and Europe. Now, in this period, work inside Palestine is so limited to internet and social media because the ongoing genocide in Gaza and the silent war in the West Bank. Okay, this make initiative its activities limited inside Palestine. I feel it's important to be stronger inside Palestine, but the situation is bigger than us. Okay, the initiative presents a political proposal as an alternative to the two-state solution or two-state proposal, and as a fundamental opposite of the Zionist ideology, as a racist ideology. We call for a democratic state across the entire land between the river and the sea, with relationship with its citizens based on justice, on freedom, on democracy, not on ethnic or religion grounds or race, as Zionism and Israel do. So we place Palestinian rights as a fundamental demand of our struggle. Among the most important of these rights is the right of return for Palestinian refugees, because justice can't be achieved without justice for Palestinian refugees who have lived for generations in refugee camps beside by Israel, and prevented food, water, and medicine, as we see in Gaza. This is not limited to Gaza. It also occurred in Lebanon when Israel destroyed Palestinian camps in Beirut and killed thousands of Palestinians in Sabra refugee camp and Shatila refugee camp in 1982.
1982,
83.
Yes.
1980, not 1982, when Israeli invasion Lebanon in 80s.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I said one. I talked about the right of return is the most. The refugee issue. The refugee issue is a central and fundamental case. There is no solution. There is no solution without addressing refugee issue.
Yes.
And if you understand the Palestinian cause, the Palestinian issue, it's a refugee issue. Basically, it's a refugee issue, a people expelled from their land who must be allowed to return. This is our case as Palestinians. We expelled from our homeland, and we must return. If you give me any solution without my right to return, you don't give me any. It's not a solution. You just want to kill my case, to kill my issue. So solutions that don't include their return, the refugees' return, such as two-state solution, are not solutions, but it's an attempt to erase Palestinian case. And the two-state proposal is a racist because it's divides the people in this land based on race and religion. So it's not also a solution. It's a racist solution, because this proposal see people in Palestine between the river and the sea, Jewish, Arab, Christian, Muslims, don't say them as humans in basically, you know. So we try to present a political proposal to face both two-state proposal and Zionist proposal.
So, in our first conversation, the first thing you started from was that you are a Palestinian refugee. And you talked a lot about the centrality of your refugee status and other Palestinians' refugee status in your life and in your material conditions and in your attitude towards what is going on here. And Elik and I were very much influenced by this. I think we didn't understand to the same level before talking to you how central this condition of being a refugee is in the whole story of what is going on here, the question of the refugees. And it is intimately connected with the question of right of return. And I think that this is very important to see, that even people like Elik and I, who really thought about this very deeply, it takes us talking to Palestinians in a deep way, in a deep conversation, to really understand what is going on here. So I must say to all our audience and to everyone in Israel in particular, please listen to Palestinians more. Please. I think your voice, Palestinian voices, are being erased. This relates to what you asked us before. How can Zionist ideology be so prevalent in Jewish Israeli society? It is because the challenges to these ideologies, to this ideology, the challenges presented mainly by Palestinian voices, are being erased from the space. And I think that this is very important, that we listen more to Palestinian voices, and this is why we want you to speak with us, Mohammad. And I think that the main point, that this situation will not be solved and will not be improved unless we address the fundamental issue of the refugee status of millions of Palestinians across the world. I think this is the most important thing I feel like I learned from you, Muhammad, and I want to emphasize this, so that no one speaks about this issue of Zionism and Palestine without saying in a very clear way that Palestinians must get a right of return. That now I want to ask you, Muhammad, because I think the right of return for Palestinians is very scary for a lot of people in Israel. And I want you to make this proposal more concrete.
Yeah, because I asked you before we started recording that Israel is here a right of return. They hear two things. First, it means they want to kick us out. Like, this is what they think. Like, it means right of return means I have to go to Europe where my grandparents came from. That's how they think about it. So yeah, maybe can you address this? Because I think in the Israeli imagination, there's no way to recognize and implement the right of return in a way that we can stay and live together here. Like,
and I think this is why it's so scary for Israelis, for Jewish Israelis, for Zionists to hear about this right of return. So we want to make everything much more clear so that people cannot say that they don't understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will talk about this from personal experience as a refugee living in a camp, like my grandfather and my father before me. Perhaps if I always think about this. Perhaps if I weren't in a refugee camp, if I lived, for example, in Amman, in Jordan, or in Beirut, or in Cairo, in Egypt, maybe, or maybe if I held citizenship of European country, this might have make me forget that I am a refugee, because I live in a camp. Every month I go to the United Nations aid center, where the sign at the entrance reads Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees. I'm always thinking about if I weren't in a refugee camp, if I lived in other country, in Egypt or in Jordan or in Europe, that maybe makes me forget that I am a refugee. But I live here. Every month I go to the United Nations aid center, where the sign in the entrance where reads Relief Agency for Palestinian refugees. That always remind me I'm a refugee, and this is not my place. I expelled from. I have a stolen village, stolen homeland. Okay, where I live always remind me, always makes me remember or to consider myself as a refugee. The situation is even okay. So when I talked many times about the life in the refugee camp. In part one, I think I don't. It's not important to talk more about this. But what I want to say when I look at the walls of the camps, they always remind me that I have a stolen village and that I must return someday. One day I must return to my homeland. So the situation is worse for refugees in Syria, in Lebanon. They don't have personal documents, citizenship, or passports. They just carry documents identifying them as refugees issued by the United Nations or the host state. Lebanese government or Syrian government or Jordanian government. So the refugee issue is the most important one, ending the suffering of millions living in camps as a fundamental condition for achieving justice. There is no justice without in the same time you make millions of people live in refugee camps.
Yes.
I wish the whole world could visit Jabalia camp, which no longer existed after Israeli army destroyed it, forcing its residents to become refugees once again in refugee camps. Or they could visit Burj al Barajne camp in Beirut. It's the worst refugee camp in the world. To see how refugees have lived for 75 years, the world would then understand how Israelis and Zionists enjoy privileges today that came at the turning millions of lives into a hell. The privileges that Israeli people enjoy in it expense of turning millions of Palestinians into hell. A hell, the camps. I mean, of the hell. It's the camp. The camp is literally a hell, passed down from generation to generation. My grandfather lived here in this refugee when he expelled in 1948. My father was born here. I also was born here. Maybe my children and my grandchildren. I work to prevent to prevent them to live in refugee camp, because it's so difficult, so tough of life. It's not easy. I don't have many words in English to explain the life in camps, but I feel you understand me. Okay, so the refugee issue is a central and a primary goal of our struggle. The number of refugees with UNRWA is nearly 6 million. 6 million. Nearly half of them, half of whom are in camps inside Palestine.
Yes.
In refugee camps in Gaza Strip and West Bank. The other half are in the neighboring countries, especially Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. Around 2 million refugees in Jordan hold the Jordanian citizenship as their sole nationality.
Yes.
So I believe the return of refugees will occur gradually, okay?
Gradually,
And,
yes.
Gradually, okay.
Yes.
Gradually, and I don't think all refugees will return, as many have acquired other nationalities, both Arab and European countries, in Arab and European countries. But the majority of refugees remain without citizenship, especially in Lebanon and Syria, and many of refugees in Jordan. So, in my view, the return of refugee doesn't necessarily involve expelling Jews from the homes they live in. Now, they live in. According to Palestinian historian Salman Abu Sitta, I told you, I talked about this with Elik before recording start. According to him, he's a famous Palestinian historian. 75% of the villages from which Palestinians were expelled remained unpopulated today. Yeah. So I don't believe that the return of refugees will involve mass explosions of Jews from their homes.
You mean expulsions, right? You mean expulsions?
Yeah, expulsions.
So
yeah, I have some,
just so that people don't get scared about explosions, we're not talking about explosions. Okay.
I'm sorry. I make many pronunciation mistake.
I don't mind about most of them, but this one I don't want any trouble, you know.
Right. Okay. So what I was saying,
it will not involve expulsion of Jewish Israeli residents from their homes.
Yeah, but many Palestinians hold property deeds for their homes. Yes. And lands. In fact, we even have a property deeds from the Ottoman Empire, which with my uncle now.
So can you tell us where that is? Can you tell us where that is?
What do you mean?
You have property deeds for houses where in Palestine?
You mean
geographically? Geographically,
yeah, in Tel Jammeh, it's a small village near Gaza. In its territory now, we have two kibbutz.
Yes, kibbutz.
Yeah, kibbutz. Re'im and Be'eri. Between Re'im and Be'eri,
yes,
it located between Re'im and Be'eri. Yeah, many people in Palestinian camps have property deeds.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. In general, what I will.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing? Please, all Israelis, at least, in the case of Mohammed's family, please let him and his family come back to live between Be'eri and Re'im. Let's start from there, okay? And then all the Palestinians, but at least Mohammed, I can vouch for him. He's fine. He's fine. Let him and his family come back, okay? And have a house in that place.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and we don't need to expel anyone. It's unpopulated now. We don't need to kick out anyone of Israelis live there.
But let's say I want to make it more difficult on purpose, okay? Because many places, even the places where we're sitting in.
Yes, the place we are sitting now.
The place we're sitting now.
Crazy.
It was when we talked to Naji from the ODSI, he told us, we asked him where were you from, and then we looked on the map and it's the neighborhood.
Yes. We asked. I just want to say for the audience, just so that it's clear. We talked to Naji, who is part of the ODSI. We talked to him privately like a year ago, almost a year ago at this point. And we asked him, where is your family from? And he told us the name of the village, and we went online and we looked at maps. There are special maps, just so people know, there are special maps that show the Palestinian village, the historical Palestinian villages and their locations. And we found the location of that village, and it was not more than a kilometer away from where we were sitting at that time. And I think this is crazy, just crazy.
Which village? What its name?
I don't remember the name.
We need to ask Naji.
We need to ask him again. I don't remember. It was almost a year ago, so we don't remember. But it was right here where we are sitting right now as well.
Because I'm trying to imagine it. It means we take down the neighborhood and build back the village, or there's some other way to settle it down, like, because as you know, the Israeli existence is built in many places on the ruins, like physically of places where there are like Palestinian neighborhoods and villages. And I understand why it's scary for Israeli Jews to start recognizing it, because it means, wow, like our whole existence, do we have to change it, and I don't know what is the right thing to do, like maybe at some situation you need to give the property back, but maybe in other situation you can, when I'm thinking about it, you can say, okay, we give you citizenship and reparation for the property you lost, or how do you think about it?
But I just want to say one thing before you answer, Mohammad.
Yeah.
This point, I think it's an important point to discuss. But I think one of the problems is that Zionists and Jewish Israelis in general make use of this fear that they have in order to block any discussion about it. Yeah. The discussion that we are having now is 100% forbidden inside Israeli society. It is not okay to have the discussion that Elik and I are doing. And many Israelis, if they know that we are having this discussion, they would want to kill us, maybe. I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. So they use these but the more sophisticated ones, they use this, but we don't know how to do it. But for them, we don't know how to do it. It's just an excuse to not talk about it at all because they don't want to do it. This is not what Elik and I are saying. We are trying to actually have this discussion. So the question is, what can we do in situations like the one with Naji, for example, whose village was destroyed and a Jewish neighborhood was built on top of it? And now, so how will he get his property back? What will be with the people living there now? You see, this is kind of practical questions that we want to ask ourselves and give like a beginning of an answer for,
It's a technical issue, but we provide a radical proposal to emphasis on the right of return as a central right, a central issue. In general, let me to make my point clear. The right of return, the right of refugees, is a fundamental condition for justice. It doesn't mean that we will expel Jews from their homes, as many imagine. Instead, it includes providing Palestinian homes, property in areas not yet colonized by Zionism. This is how I understand. Yeah, this is how I understand the right of return. I know. I feel. I know there is. You said. Israeli people scared, afraid from the right of return, but we give them an option to be alternative of Zionism. there is a Palestinian leader, but I don't remember who's. I think George Habash, but I'm not sure. He said, "I don't want to expel you from your home. I wanted to share the home with you." This is what present. This is my value also. Yeah.
I want to say something about what you are saying now.
Yeah.
I want to speak directly to Israelis, to Zionists. If any one of them is listening now, none of them are probably listening. But let me just say, you came into someone's home. This is like the kind of situation that happened.
Yeah.
You came into someone's home. You took over like 90% of their home. You pushed them in the closet. You held them in the closet for decades. You stabbed them occasionally. Okay, you killed them. You inflict violence upon them, and then still they say, "Let us share this home that used to be completely mine." And you have the nerve to say that you are the victims here.
Yeah.
I think this is evidence that you are absolutely insane, and please get a grip, because your insanity is causing so much suffering, so much violence, so much pain to everyone around here, including you. So please get a fucking grip. תתאפסו על עצמכם. תתאפסו על עצמכם.
Yeah, it's also...
What does it mean?
It means
the last one.
Get a fucking grip, but in Hebrew.
Yeah, like...
It's an expression.
Okay.
Yeah, back. Please go back to be in touch with reality.
Yes.
With with basic reality. And I think like a lot of big tragedy of the like Palestinian, from what I heard, is that like they were quite open and like in hospitality for the Jews who started to come from Europe. Like they opened their houses and say, yeah, you're being chased in Europe, come and seek hostage here. And then it ended up that the people they allowed them to take refuge was taking over their place.
Yes.
Because I think about it when I think about my grandparents who came from the Holocaust. In a way, like, it's okay to go and seek refuge, right? And to ask, like, I've been chased somewhere else, please let me stay here. I ask you. I think it's okay. It's okay to ask for refuge.
It's necessary.
It's necessary. But it's not okay to take over somebody else's house. Like, this is where it starts being...
Yeah, the story that I told, take the story that I told, now add to it that the person who did the thing, who stole the house, was being chased by other people. Does that make it better? It explains it, but it doesn't make it better, guys. It doesn't make anything that happened okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted also now to ask a bit how, like, people around you or see this kind of concept of like people in Gaza, of the ODSI, if they accept the idea of one democratic state for everyone, if you have partners, how do people think about it? Do they even think that it's... And also for you, because I think now the people in Gaza, they see bombs and soldiers, and most of the Palestinian people, they didn't see anything positive come from the Jewish settlers. So how would they say, okay, now let's live together with them in democracy? Like, I wonder how
it's even possible to think that this is an option.
Yeah, and if people are open to it, or people like more like, I don't know, fuck them, we don't want to do anything to do with them. Like, what is the attitude about this solution? Or maybe some people already bought to the two-state idea. Like, I wonder, just like...
Okay. Yeah. I think, okay, let me clear before I start. Okay, Israel kills people in Gaza. in Jews' name, but also there are many Jews Palestinians and stand against Israel, stand against Zionism, and stand against the genocide. And people in Gaza also see these videos of Jews in Europe and in the United States. Yeah, they see these videos and reacted with it. To be clear, okay? I believe that the one-state solution is supported by significant segment of Palestinians. Polls have shown that about 35% of Palestinians support this solution. I consider this a good number. Why? Because for several reasons. First, this pool only included Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank, and we are in a war, a genocidal war, and hatred level in the top. You
yes.
can say, okay,
yes.
and without Palestinian, without considering refugees in camps in Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan, and Palestinian holding Israeli citizenship. So these pools don't include all Palestinians, but just Palestinian in Gaza and West Bank. They are just dead of Palestinian people. The second reason is that nearly about 1/3 of Palestinians support a political vision that's not championed. I think I don't remember the word.
Championed
by any political party. Yeah, championed. No any political party, any political Palestinian group talk about this solution. They have only heard, I mean Palestinian, they have only heard about it through the media and writers. This highlights the importance of our rule here as the initiative. We don't just want to talk about a one-state solution for all. We want to actively work toward it. I believe this number would rise to a majority. There were a political party advocating for this vision and mobilizing people's energy around it. So this is the aspiration of the initiative. So many people, especially among Palestinians, ask me how the people of Gaza in particular and Palestinian in general could live with Israelis after everything they have done, they have endured. The answer is simple. The one-state solution promises Palestinians justice, the right of return, the dismantling of refugee camps, and an end to their suffering, which began in 1948. Why no one wouldn't the people of Gaza be convinced by it? This solution is supported by those who yearn for justice. Yeah, this is my point.
I think I have a point about this. If you ask the population in Israel, Jewish Israeli population, you will get maybe 1% support for this idea, maybe a fraction of a percent. Only crazy people in the eyes of Zionists support one democratic state for everyone and the right of return and such just solutions.
Yeah.
And I think that this is no accident that the Palestinian population supports this idea much more than Zionist population or Jewish Israeli population supports this idea, because the material conditions are very, very different. This is something that we talked about in our podcast many times, that Zionists say that the Palestinians are the problem, that the Palestinians don't want peace, that the Palestinians don't want an agreement, and that the Palestinians are the cause of the violence. But this is not true. The problem is Zionism. The problem is Zionists. The problem is the people who pretend that some of them pretend, and some of them don't even bother to pretend, but those who bother to pretend that they want peace, but they don't really want peace, because their idea of peace is not does not also include justice, and peace without justice is not really peace.
Yeah.
The point, what I want to say about an article I've read. There's about 14% of Israeli people support one state solution, but I think they see Israel as a liberal state, and we want to fix Israel, to make it for all its people. So this is what makes us in the initiative explain detail our vision of the state that we work for it. We don't want to fix Israel, to make it a good state for all its people. That makes us why we focus on the shape of the state in detail. So the problem started with Zionism. So the solution must started with Zionism. Any solution without defeating Zionism, we put a cover on the problem. We don't fix the problem. We just cover it. This is what the point I want to add. Yeah.
Yes.
I think we both. It's interesting that, when we started doing this, this is where we started from. I think first episode of our podcast, we felt like the problem is the ideology of Zionism. And we didn't know it's really cool that now we meet you and we have this fundamental agreement, that I think.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think about it that, right now Israelis are not in a position that they can accept it. But I think there will come the time in the future that we will offer them a way out of the problem that Zionism and they created, maybe unconsciously, but the time will come. I think we have to hold on and to work with people, and we will still get work to get Israelis here and there, but I think most of the population will be ready for it at some point.
So I think the reason why there is so little support for such an idea among Israelis is the fact that their material conditions are pretty good right now compared to Palestinians, and they have certain privileges, like you talked about, Mohammad, and they want to keep these privileges, and they believe that this proposal of one equal state for all will take away their privileges. So maybe in the future, when their material conditions are not so good, when they feel like this might be a better deal for them, then we will be able to attract more of them, because this is what guides most people. Unfortunately, this is like
not justice, not question of morality and justice.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're having too many connection problems. We decided that we will continue this conversation in a third part of in a third episode, okay? But for now, we just want to finish. Mohammed, do you have a message for Israelis that you want to send to all Israelis? Please tell it to us.
Yeah, I have a message, but I hope the connection is good.
Yes.
Okay. The Palestinian poet Mahmoud Darwish once said, "The killer loves the face of his victim." He said it in Arabic, but I'm trying to translate it into English. There is no doubt that a special relationship forms between the colonizer and the colonized. The long years of occupation have shaped people against their will. So Israelis have always hoped that Palestinians would disappear, I'm sure, forever, so they could replace us in heritage, in name. Yes, I believe that Israelis, consciously or unconsciously, wish for all Palestinians to vanish, to disappear. So we are in Palestine. We are the descendants of the Canaanites, of Arabs, those who came from the shores of the sea, and those who remained, like Turks, like Kurds, like Amazigh, like Africans, everyone who settled in this land has become today's Palestinian, has become today Palestinians. Palestinian people has become Palestinian people. But what prevents you, Israelis, what prevents you from becoming one of us? I will answer. It's Zionism. Zionism was that Zionism rejected proposals from both Jews and Palestinians before 1948 for a single state for all who lived between the river and the sea. Zionism wanted a single Jewish state, ethnically pure. So for over a century, Zionism has been the primary obstacle to a solution between us, between Palestinians and Israelis. It's the main reason behind the absence of the values we dream of sharing, like justice and democracy and equality, all the things we wish for humanity. So the solution today, as the world increasingly recognizes Zionism as one of the most racist ideologies in our world, and Israel is an apartheid state, the solution is to acknowledge that this ideology, based on Jewish supremacy and exclusion of non-Jews, can't endure in the 21st century. Okay, an apartheid system can't survive in the age of human rights revolutions. It may persist for a few more years because it has power and capital, but it will never succeed in uprooting us from our land. We are here, millions of Palestinians, and we will not disappear. We may live in refugee camps, true, but every single day, as I walk through the narrow streets in my refugee camp, the walls always remind me that I have stolen homeland, I have a stolen village, and one day I will return to it. So today, you are witnessing genocide just a few kilometers away from you as Israelis. Some of you may be supported, some of you are indifferent, some of you don't care. Okay, but I remember I watched a film titled "The Zone of Interest." It's about, I think you know this movie. It's about a Nazi family living near a concentration camp. They could hear the victims' screams, smell and they smell the burning flesh, but they remained indifferent. They remained don't care, living their lives as usual. The Germans did not admit to committing the worst Holocaust, the worst genocide in history until Zionism was defeated. Until Nazism was defeated.
Same.
What about you? What about Israel's people? Yeah. When will you admit that your soldiers today are committing genocide, resulting in nearly 200,000 people killed, injured, and missing? And we talked about millions, about 1.7 million people live in tents. Israeli army prevents them to return to their home. The genocide continues and the numbers increase daily. When will you realize that your soldiers are turning Gaza into a livable place by destroying homes, burning neighborhoods, schools, universities, hospitals, and even streets? What do you feel when you see your soldiers celebrating and cheering as they blow up the homes of unarmed people? When will you realize that the privileges you enjoy come at the cost of turning millions of Palestinians' lives into hell? I'm one of them. Will you admit this when we defeat Zionism and apartheid, as Germans did? So this is an option. This is a solution. The solution is clear. Reject Zionism, give up your colonial privileges, and let us live together in one state for all its citizens, a state of justice, a state of equality, a state of democracy, the essential opposite of Zionism and the state of Israel. This is the only future safe living for Jews and Palestinians. If you are betting on erasing us, you are mistaken. We are the salt of the land or the salt of the earth. As Mahmoud Darwish said, this sea is mine. This air, this humid air is mine. So let's share the sea with together. Let's share the air together. And this is an option. You don't need to continue fighting and fighting and fighting to live. You can live without fighting, without killing others, without destroying homes in Lebanon, in Gaza, in West Bank. You can live in safety in one democratic state without Zionism, without any other racist ideology. This is my message.
Thank you so much, Mohammad.
Yeah. You
so
say
much.
it and it brings tears to my eyes. It's like so strong and so truth.
Yes, and I want to say that I share your
I'm sorry.
I want to say that I share your vision completely. I share your criticism of Israelis completely. I think you expressed it very accurately. I want to say that I adopt more and more and more this identity of Hebrew Palestinian, because I think that it says something about how I relate to the situation here. I am not for Zionism. I am not for the occupation. I'm not for the oppression. I'm not for the inequality. I'm not for the violence. I'm not for the war. I'm not for the genocide. I'm for a free Palestine. And I want to say that I am a Hebrew Palestinian. And I want to be a citizen of one democratic state of Palestine with equality for all.
Yeah, me too. And I feel like, Palestine was always an inclusive identity. It contained Jews and Muslims, and inshallah, like it will be one day that we live this thing again. And Zionists will they need to give up. It's only fear. Fear is the thing that they can rationalize it, and think they have logic. It comes from fear. And the more I understand it,
yes, it's clear.
Yeah, it's clear. And when you speak, it makes it even more clear to me. Like every day it becomes more clear. So thank you for it.
Yes, thank you so much. I think this was a very important message for Israelis to hear.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good place to
thank you, guys.
Wrap up this part of the conversation. We want to speak with you again, Mohammad, and delve even deeper into the idea of the ODSI and the proposal and what Palestinians in Gaza and elsewhere think about this proposal and how we can make it a reality. Okay, so thank you to the audience for being with us, and thank you, Elik, and thank you, Mohammad, so much for joining us again, and we hope to see
you guys
again, very, very soon.
There will be third part for this conversation. I have many questions to you. Actually, as a Palestinian from Gaza to you as Jews, I prepared many questions, but we have limited time and we have bad connection, so difficulties prevent us to share this question to you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Maybe next part will be more you asking us questions.
Yes, that will be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you again, Mohammad. Thank you, everybody. And in our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians, right? We started finishing like that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so bye-bye, and peace and justice for all.
Together we defeat Zionism.
Yeah, together we will defeat Zionism.
Yeah, together we will defeat Zionism. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.